having a wonderful evening because we're going to just make it a little bit better than it was previously because we got ourselves with Archetype facing off against Baby Makers. Baby Makers are the 8th seed coming on in from the wildcard weekend, and Archetype, well, they are the number 1 seed. So they had the choice here between map pick and first pick, opting for map pick. So we'll be getting started here a little bit. So hopefully you're all excited to see how Baby Makers are able to do against number 1 team Division A West. Now, this is definitely not going to be a simple match for Baby Makers, and you definitely saw them put on a good show wildcard weekend. So I'm expecting them to be able to hold their own in this match against Archetype. So before we get started, I'm going to be giving you all some of the lowdown, some of the stats on some of the picks that we might be seeing. So they had a 90.9% win rate, 22 games. The top picks we're very likely to see, and it's actually insane like how their drafts are. We have Deckard, Johanna, Cassia, Southale, and Asmodin are their top picks. With Deckard 14 games, Johanna 13 games, Cassia 10 games, with their win rates being insane. 100% win rate on Deckard, 92.3% win rate on Johanna, 100% on Cassia, 100% on Malthale, 85.7% win rate on Asmodin. Baby Makers got their work cut out for them. Now, this is, like I said, not going to be an easy game whatsoever for Baby Makers. When you're reading stats like that, 100% win rates, 100%, 100%, 100%, you hopefully have a strategy down and have done research on who you want to face from their draft capabilities, because they definitely have a stranglehold on winning in NGS right now. So we'll be getting started here shortly, like I said. And in the meantime, we're going to pull up some of the Baby Maker stats so you guys can get an idea of who we potentially could see, along with some of those win rates. Their most popular picks include Deckard, Sonya, Tychus, Whitemane, Jaina, Gul'dan. Now, the win rates, however, are not anything that impressive from their top picks. So Deckard, only a 45.5% win. Whitemane, 42.9% win rate. 33.3% win rate on Jaina. So some of their most popular heroes don't actually have very good win rates. In fact, their actual win rate this season was under 50% with 45% when it's done. All right, I think we're about ready to get started here. Now, like I said, this is going to be a very hard uphill battle for Baby Makers because they're playing, like I said, the number 1 team. And we're going to be going to my favorite map. And not to ruin it, but we'll be hopping on in the Towers of Doom. Now, Towers of Doom is an exceptionally macro heavy map, in my opinion. strategy of where to push, what to give up, taking sapper camps, when to take sapper camps, holding keeps versus taking other keeps, so forth and so on. These are all very, very important things to keep in mind. Now, I subscribe to the philosophy of wave clear, wave clear, wave clear. If you can clear the wave, you can do what you want. The enemy team cannot clear the waves as quickly as you. You're able to go in, apply macro pressure however you so choose. If you're only equals in wave clear, the enemy team can come and, well, they can come and contest you on her camps. So we're going to see that Asmodin ban and the Genji follow-up ban. This is going to be very hard. They do have a first pick on the side of baby makers, which is going to be, I don't know if it's actually going to be beneficial for him, because even if they pick Deckard Cain, their most popular pick, that does take it away from Archetype. But Archetype just plays so many heroes so well that I don't think it really matters who they get. It's definitely beneficial to take away their most picked heroes. And we're going to see the Kerrigan banned out as well. The Abathur has been banned as well. And Abathur, if we take a look at Archetype, I actually don't see a single game played with Abathur. So I'm not sure this is actually the greatest of bans. It seems like, yes, I'm sure Archetype probably could pull off the Abathur. I don't know if they actually play the Abathur though. And we'll see, like I said, the Deckard Cain coming out first. This does take away the most popular pick from Archetype, but they will be picking up Diablo and Maiev in turn. Now, what's interesting is Diablo is a significantly less popular for them than Johanna. We're talking about a little under half the games. Their success rate is higher on Johanna, pretty good still on Diablo with the 83.3% win rate. In the Maiev, well, Maiev, I don't know if we've seen Maiev actually from Archetype based on Stats of the Storm. So this is going to be the first time Stats of the Storm, based on the data I have, actually see the Maiev coming out from them. Additionally, on the flip side, we're going to see Tyrael and Kel'Thuzad. This is really crazy. Kel'Thuzad and Tyrael. Now, I'm assuming the logic here is that Warden's Cage goes down. Use Sanctification to save everyone. You nullify the Lightning Breath at the same time, and you basically cancel out the Wombo combo, what I like to call the Hell in the Cell, as a Diablo is melting you while Maiev is melting you with some Qs, and simultaneously, well, nothing happens anymore. Tyrael just keeps them unlocked. However, you can interrupt Tyrael's Sanctification, so if you keep a lookout for it, you'll be able to stop it. Now, on the flip side, we're going to see a Lei Ming with Rhaegar. This is definitely Reset City comp they're going for. Maiev with the Fan of Knives. Diablo melting through the HP pools, which then sets up Lei Ming to basically calamity onto everyone over and over and over again. And Rhaegar is now the pickup for Archetype. Rhaegar is actually not very picked up in most of the meta, but Rhaegar is the best murking support in the game. So when you get down to it, they need some additional wave clear. Diablo doesn't have it. Lei Ming is not very good at it. Maiev definitely can handle the wave clear situation, but when it's all said and done, it's still on the lower side. And we're going to see on the flip side the Muradin and Greymane. So I'm assuming they're going to actually have Tyrael in the solo lane. Greymane is going to be there for the wave clear. Kel'Thuzad, well, he's going to be there some wave clear. So they're going to be able to murk pretty well. However, they pick up Dahaka on the side of Archetype, which means that their invades are going to be very scary. Kel'Thuzad is a very weak hero until he reaches his 30 blight. Now, the first thing I think is that this is Archetype's game to lose. Kel'Thuzad is a large liability due to how easy it is to dive him, how squishy he is, and how weak he is until he hits that 30 blight. Diablo is a paper bag early on in the game, but Kel'Thuzad is basically even worse than a paper bag in the early game. And with their generally lacking wave clear superiority, that's going to leave open the opportunity for Archetype to come in and come in hard to pick on Kel'Thuzad, pick on Greymane, and they have a lot of people who can dive in. They have Diablo, they have Mayav. Technically, Li Ming Calamities on in as well. Dahaka can burrow on in, so they can contest the camp simultaneously. So the other thing is, Tyrael has really fallen out of the meta when it's all said and done, and his mana costs have been slightly reduced, like very little impact overall to the hero. So I'm not really seeing how they're going to win, other than hoping that they can cancel out the wombo combos and win off of the back of the sanctification. So jumping into the game as we're now all ready to go, we're going to see Virtuoso on that Diablo. Odin is going to be on the Dahaka. Solo on the Mayav. We're going to have Super Flip on the Li Ming and Ranoris on the Rhaegar. And that's going to be Archetype. On the other side, we're going to see Amy 1 Kenobi on the Kel'Thuzad. Lawlins on the Greymane. Sanch on the Muradin. We got Slabho Laggins on the Tyrael. Beautiful name, by the way. And finally, Stony is going to be on the Deckard. And that is going to be the Baby Makers. So we're going to kick on off with the traditional mid-fight, but Tyrael did start things off by going top. Taking a quick look at what we have here. I like the positioning here because they have superior wave clear. They're going to have Mayav go on down. Virtuoso is going to delay their rotation significantly by dismounting all of them. So they're going to have march on down, but we now have Mayav coming on and going to get the chain, going to actually be able to land it still despite the stun from Sanch. So taking a look at what we have, we're going to have the Bonds of Justice. We get the electric charge, so I'm assuming we're going to generally have the full lightning shield build. We got the Feast on Fear, the Force Armor. So Li Ming going to be playing safer than worrying about getting the extra damage and mana regen. We're also going to have the tissue regen, and on the other side, we're going to have Viciousness, Barbed Chains, Sapphire, Justice for All, and finally Perfect Storm. In case you guys are wondering what that sound is, that's the hero shares share bot or share program that basically have all this information. Eventually there'll be a live UI that will be viewable so you can see talents at any given moment. So all members are coming on down in to fight this. The Hawk is going to be burrowing on in. A nice wall bang there onto Lawlins. Lawlins are trying to get on out. The tether is there. Going to pull two back. Lawlins will get on out. The root is very nice from Stony, but Kel'Thuzad, like I said, is that liability. Will be going down where Super Flip has just 1v1'd him out of his mind. Sanch now in trouble here. A drag, it couldn't secure a kill. They're not looking for it, actually. So Sappers will come down. First blood, like I said. And with that, they've already gotten themselves a pretty nice lead when it's all said and done. However, Slabo Laggins will push this camp on in. And the minion wave, well, it'll be cleared up. Unfortunately, he didn't push hard enough. So level 4s are here. Super Flip in a very awkward position, but he doesn't have the Glacial Spike. And so Super Flip will be able to get on out. But Sanch missing that critical stun, and we get the spray to drop simultaneously. Remember, friends, always drop the spray. So taking a look at the level 4s here, we're going to have the Blade Dance, Storm Caller, Souls to the Flame, Charge Blast. Interesting. We're also going to get the Hero Stalker. We got Eyes in the Dark, Strip Shields, Ocean of Shielding, and no other choices quite yet. Sanch is on deep, will be pulled on back. The nice wall bang from Virtuoso. Sanch, though, will be able to hop on out, but Solo coming on in, going to connect and take down Sanch. So we're going to see this traded out in favor of Archetype. At this point, they're playing a pretty clean game. They have Amy Wan Kenobi up there. Slabo Lagans will delay it out, but they're going to have to give this up nonetheless. And with no tower and no gate, they have barely a tower still remaining, which is going to put significant pressure on this bot lane, which is always a very important lane because you have the double sappers, which then means you can get control of bottom much easier and or walk him on in to get some extra shots. So what's interesting is that they pretty much all reset on the side of Archetype. They do have Virtuoso in a very nice position. Super Flip sitting there waiting for the potential to go on in. Amy, though, is playing really safe. Sanch, though, going to be wallbang there. There comes the Orb on top of the Charge Blast. Going to help dish out some additional damage as well. Going to avoid the chains. Dropping the spray once again. Super Flip on top of this micro as he both avoids and drops sprays all within the blink of an eye. So sevens are here. They are setting up for the camp evade. Stony, though, will actually spot this out. Very nicely done. And Wetlands is here. He does need to be careful about the angle. Virtuoso could charge him if he gets the correct angle. They do have Amy coming down in. A nice charge from Virtuoso. They do get the root in place, but the pull on back from Solo. Kel'Thuzad bites the dust once again. The Undead has met death once more, and Sanch will be making it out. Slabo trying his best to dish out some additional damage, but it's not going to be enough to deter Archetype from taking this camp once again. So at this point, Archetype just flexing all day long on baby makers. We do have the bottom two coming on up. They still hold the keep here. The tether will pull on back. Slabo getting really low. The nice charge there, going to keep him from actually queuing on back out there with his sword. And they pick up another kill. 4 kills to nothing already. A full level lead with a closer battle or closer race to 10 at this point, which is going to make this game snowball even harder. So another channel, 36 to 28. They're not out of this game quite yet, but it's starting to look like they are falling behind dramatically. Solo getting really low. Will be able to use that D to avoid the damage. Law lanes will just manage to make it on out 2. So we're going to have a 12 shot differential at this point. Now, really, they unfortunately need Kel'Thuzad to hit the 30 blight, because right now he's kind of like a wet noodle and hitting people with a wet noodle, a pool noodle perhaps. Now, taking a look at some of the damage numbers here, we're going to see Solo already at 15k with Li Ming coming on in. Super Flip with almost 15k at this point as well. On the other side, Kel'Thuzad only sitting at 5k, which is a dramatic difference when Sanch is already 2k more. So Sappers coming on in, getting their mark onto that keep, and the keep is now at roughly 60% life. We still are getting stacks on the Perfect Storm, 12 so far. Nice pull on back, and we're now sitting at 15 for the Blight, which does give him the Glacial Spike, which is going to make it a little bit easier when it's all said and done to get more stacks. Sanch has to be careful. There's the wallbang from Virtuoso, the overpower. We are going to see one dead Muradin. 10s have come on up, and the double root there. Amy is trying to run. Solo should be able to throw out the Spirit in a minute. Does he have it? There it comes, the tether, the Warden's Cage, and Amy's going to be going down once again. Solo, though, in a bad place, and it's not going to connect the Ancestral Hill. Stony with a beautiful lockdown there with the scroll. Lawlins trying to come on in. Virtuoso really low. Lawlins trying to get the kill. Does have a little bit of help there from the potion. Will be able to hold this keep in the meantime, though. And I'm going to be lagged out of my mind. And with that, another few shots will come on down. Virtuoso going to get the wall bang, overpower onto Sanch, and we've turned into a slideshow here. The stay a while and listen coming on out. Sanch is going to be okay. We get the Ancestral Hill to connect, and unfortunately this has somehow turned into a complete slideshow for me. Now, Lawlins is pretty low. Oh no, this is just absolute laxity for me. Lightning Breath coming on out. We do get the Sanctification. The kill, though, onto Haka. The kill on Solo. This is really big for Baby Makers. They get themselves 2 kills. They do lose a Lawlins in the meantime, though. And unfortunately, that entire fight turned into a slideshow for everyone at home. Probably because I tabbed out to try and close something in the meantime. But it's actually cleared on up, unfortunately, after the fight has occurred. Now, because they lost Lawlins, this is going to hurt them quite a bit, as their ability to do wave clear, do the Merc camp, significantly hindered overall. We are still at only 24 stacks of the Blight, which means he's almost there. We also have the Bonds of Justice, which was completed fairly quickly here. So Solo's going to dish out significantly more damage when it's all said and done. Now, we do have a lot of heroics down. Ancestral is down, but what's worse is that Sanctification is down for another 35 seconds, which means they're going to be fighting 26. What are they doing here, Baby Makers? They see the bottom? Okay, this is actually an interesting call. The Super Flip going to be coming on, and they're going to be able to rotate up. This is a very aggressive call. They have left bottom. They're going to get the keep down there. We get the Shadow Fissure. Virtuoso going to be coming on in. But they capture the boss. A very aggressive call. They do get it. Amy, though, getting low. Lightning Breath going to be coming on out. Stony going to be melted there. The channel from Lawlins not going to be good enough as Super Flip drops the Wave of Force to interrupt it. And the channel will now occur. So they kind of trade out a death for the boss. But they also are not able to take this objective whatsoever. So really, it amounts to nothing. And Super Flip going to be getting both the spray and the kill onto Lawlins. Now, I really don't agree with that call overall. It basically, they gave up the bottom, they got the boss, and they still lost the objective. So, and they lost 2 members. So really, they accomplished, it's a negative gain. We have Virtuoso coming around looking for Amy. Amy is in a bad position. Virtuoso going to come on in with that big wall bang, the overpower. Amy has nowhere to go except to the grave. The Shadow Fissure going to come on out. And oh, beautiful ancestral heal. That heal was so perfect. Super Flip going to be able to get on out. The Wave of Force is not quite up yet. There comes the Lightning Breath onto Stony. The pull on back. Stony's going to be melted here. And the resets are going to come on down. Super Flip and there to drop some more damage. And they get themselves 3 kills. At this point, if you are Baby Makers, there's pretty much only one thing you can do. Hit 13 and try to gank them. Or try to fight them. You need to fight him, and you need to get several kills here. Tyrael, which is instrumental to surviving that combo, is the solo laner, which means he's almost never here for any of these fights, making his actual usefulness almost non-existent, especially when the Haka is able to keep the pressure on the top lane for almost an infinite amount of time. We have all members up in the midsection. Here, the stun is going to connect onto Rhaegar. Their Solo is there. Going to be pulling on back Stony. Lawlins is deep, though. Trying to look for a kill. Shadow Fissure going to connect. They execute Rhaenyra's. There's the kill from... they're looking for Virtuoso as another kill. They will not be able to get it. The channel, though, in the bot lane. And Super Flip is able to take down Amy, and the channel trying to be attempted solo, getting low, does have the ability to get on out. Virtuoso is deep on in there. Lightning Breath going to be used, going to get a double kill. Tyrael trying to get the value, and there goes Lawlins looking for the booty of Li Ming, but that booty is not for him to chew on. Sanch super low, the wall bang from Virtuoso, and that's going to be 4 members down. They get the early kill, but they don't even need Rhaegar. They have that 16 advantage, and 16 is enough for them to 4v5. Now, at this point, game is over, and Baby Makers have been, I gotta say, pretty bodied that game. Their draft was essentially worthless, as I had previously stated, where it really didn't do anything. They had Tyrael there. Tyrael didn't even use sanctification for that last fight, and because he basically didn't achieve anything, for the team, they were essentially fighting 4v5 entire game. I'd say even having a false stat would have been much more effective than what we saw from Baby Maker's Tyrael. In fact, I want to point out just how little this Tyrael pick did for him. 14,000, almost 15,000 damage. If we sort this damage, Tyrael was below everyone in this game in damage, other than the two supports. His actual shielding was 4,000 shielding, basically worthless. This is a hero that did literally nothing for Baby Maker's composition. The sanctification was a brilliant idea, and the execution there was the opposite of brilliant. If we take a look at the sieging, Odin and Solo top in the charts here overall, with Slobo Baggins trying his best to keep up as he was up there a long time. Even Super flipped out sieging when it was all said and done. In terms of actual DPS, Super Flip coming in with the 40,000. Lawlins trying his best there, trying to chew on some booties, but unfortunately, Lawlins was not able to make it work for his team. Maiev, a 34k, a 32k, and then here's the real problem with their draft, or one of the other problems with their draft. Kel'Thuzad. Kel'Thuzad, 24,000 damage. 3,500 less damage than Muradin. This was an insane liability for the side of Baby Makers. He came online way too late. They fell behind very early on in the game. And basically, they got completely out macroed by this side of Archetype, because they knew they had the advantage from level 1 until 30 Blight. At that point, they had talent tier advantages. Doesn't matter unless Kel'Thuzad solos an entire team. And they didn't solo an entire team. And if we look at the healing output was roughly the same. Even the damage was roughly the same. The real story here, to me, is that Tyrael and Kel'Thuzad were, to me, very nonsensical picks. You have no early game with Kel'Thuzad, and Tyrael is going to offer nothing against the Haka. He's not winning the lane. He's not going to be able to out-rotate the Haka. And so you wind up in a situation where it's pretty much a lose-lose for you as the Tyrael. Can't go and help your team, and your team is fighting 4v4 with the potential for 4v5 at any given moment. Additionally, without having that Sanct available for the 4v4s, it would have actually been more beneficial to have Sanch in the solo lane and Tyrael with the team. If Tyrael was with the team, it's very possible this game could have gone differently. The reason for that is, well, Slobo could have been dropping Sancts, potentially saving the team, and actually getting some value for his team prior to the few times he actually did manage to use the sanctification. We'll be right back with game number 2, and we'll be hopping on into the replays from that last game.